Hello and welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Marie Kato. On Friday, a Turkish court in Ankara threw out a high-profile case against the country's main opposition, the Republican People's Party, otherwise known as the CHP, that sought to unseat its leader, Özel Oguru. The judge dismissed the charges, which focused on allegations of vote buying and procedural irregularities during the party's 2023 Congress, ruling that the accusations had no basis, according to news reports. I now welcome Kıvanç Ulusoy, professor of political science at Istanbul University, to tell us more about these developments. Hello, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So the ruling allows the CHP party leader, Özel Uygur, I hope I got the name right, to...
Özgür Özel.
Oh, there we go.
Özgür.
It's very tricky with these names, you have to forgive me. To retain his position after this legal challenge, which centered on internal party politics, which is deemed to have no substance. What are the political implications of the ruling?
First of all, this was creating a tremendous stress on the opposition party, and it showed the pressure of the governing AKP on the opposition. However, now they are probably more relaxed because the Congress that brought the current leadership to the party is completely legitimized.
And how would you say, how significant was yesterday's court's decision in terms of dismissing the case against the CHP Congress for Turkish democracy and the balance of power between the government and the opposition?
You know, the opposition is a key matter, is the key matter of the democratic politics, and we have seen recently in Turkey that the opposition is under tremendous stress of the governing party and pressure of the governing party, and this creates a big danger for Turkish democracy, of course. And it's clear that still the tendency of the voters is to favor the opposition party, CHP. And this will not change probably in the coming 1 or 2 years when the elections are on the spot. So the AK Party, which has been governing the country for about 23 years, is now very much, I would say, is now losing a lot of votes because of the economic problems, because of the foreign policy advantages, etc. Now we see that the opposition might have a bigger chance of taking power back.
Some analysts described this situation, this case, as a test of judicial independence in Turkey. Do you think that the outcome suggests any change in how Turkish courts handle politically sensitive cases? Would you agree with the statement that this is a test?
Yeah. I think, this is a test, but I don't think that it will change much the situation. Still, the judges are under tremendous pressure of the government, and many of them are not, able to judge independently. Yeah, and we hope that this will end soon, because another significant side of democracy is the independence of the judges and the judiciary, and this is completely under threat nowadays.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the threat and the pressure that judges experience in Turkey?
Look, there are cases of corruption, there are cases of mismanagement, there are cases of mishandling of the public procurements. In many cases, we see that the judges are not moving fast or enough, and now the pressure turns on the opposition party and the opposition mayors in many of the major cities. And we see that the cases are basically politically motivated. Yes, there are some substantial issues in these mayors' cases, but you expect an equal treatment of the mayors of the governing party. So this creates an unfair situation, and this has been observed widely by the people.
And after the detention of Ekrem İmamoğlu earlier this year and the protests that followed, how do you see the opposition's position evolving ahead of the 2028 presidential election?
For this reason, actually, this latest decision of the court is important because there was an expectation that if the previous Congress was cancelled, etc., so this leadership was planning to establish a new party. The party might be divided into 2 or 3. So this would create a more advantageous position for the government led by Erdoğan. And now we see that the opposition, actually the main opposition party, has a greater chance of going to the elections as a single party, as a single movement, let's say, and it has a bigger chance of gaining the elections.
So what does this ruling mean for all other individuals that Turkish authorities have detained over the last months? We know of mayors, journalists, and other prominent figures.
Exactly. So I don't think that this will change the situation in a general sense, or I don't think that this will make the cases of other politically motivated arrests of journalists or the opposition leaders change. So let us see, because the judges and judiciary in general is quite selective in terms of decisions, and in one case a positive decision does not affect the other cases.
The ruling, though, seemed to have an immediate positive impact on the lira and the Istanbul Stock Exchange. What does this tell us about investor perceptions of political stability in Turkey?
Exactly. This is the most delicate situation in Turkey, and we see that backsliding of democracy has its limits, or going towards more and more authoritarian leadership has its limits, mainly drawn by the economic situation in general. We see that the economic crisis is deep, and furthering the political crisis would affect the economic situation more and more. And this is turning to be very serious for the government. Probably they have tested, you ask me who tested who, I think they have tested that economic situation is quite sensitive to the political decisions made by the government. I don't know whether they will change their mind to properly installing democratic politics in Turkey. But they saw very clearly that the economic situation is very delicate and sensitive to political decisions.
Just last night, we heard that President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan made a statement that Turkey is ready to organize a summit, a meeting between President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin if it doesn't succeed in Budapest. So do you know anything more about that? Can you tell us a little bit more what that might mean in terms of Turkey's role in a possible peace summit between Ukraine and Russia?
Yeah, Erdogan actually has a good relationship both with Erdogan and with Putin, and Turkey has been for some time trying to be a center position in terms of these peace negotiations and international arrangements, etc. And that's why Turkey is ready to host any meeting of this kind. But more importantly, the personal relationship between Erdogan and Putin, Erdogan and Trump, might allow Turkey to host these kind of meetings. But let's see what will happen.
But do you think that Erdogan has enough clout to be able to actually bring anything to the table? Or do you think that he might actually have more influence on Putin to actually bring him to the negotiating table?
Turkey, since the beginning of the Ukrainian war, has been quite balanced in its position towards Russia, towards Europe, and towards the United States. It has been strictly applying the Montreux Convention, which allows the passage of the ships and warships to Black Sea, which is a soft belly of Russia. And I don't think Turkish position will change more, and Russia needs Turkey to be, let's say, to be independent, to be more sensitive to Russian interests, and to be more sensitive to regional stability. And this will not change. And the only thing that Turkey could do to, let's say, to push Russia to sit on the table is to convince to convince Putin that the war will not cease soon, and this will damage the whole Black Sea stability and economy. I think it will. It will be possible for Erdogan to convince Putin on this matter, because it's now clear that there is no winner of a war in Ukraine.
Okay, Kıvanç Ulusoy, Professor of Political Science at Istanbul University. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And that wraps up World Talks. Thank you so much for being with us, and make sure you stay tuned for more on TVP World. Goodbye.